Hello, hello, hello. Today is the 17th of April 2023, and it's been 2 weeks since we last heard from Norm Winski. I can hardly hear what he has. I can hardly wait to hear what he has to say today. Norm, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jeff. When I was last on your show on March 20th, I gave the following forecast. We had 3 points. We had the new moon coming up on the afternoon of the 21st. Anytime we have a new moon, full moon, we look at financials, grains, precious metals. And then we had also that night, the night of the 21st, AC is after close, PM is afternoon. We had Uranus to the U.S. chart. That's U.S. stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. And then the afternoon of the 23rd, we had Pluto from Geo, so for geocentric from the point of view of the Earth, change signs going into Aquarius. That's kind of a rare event because that only happens about every 20 years or so, because Pluto is a 248-year cycle. So, and then we had these markets: cattle, cocoa, copper, corn, cotton, gold, hogs, sugar, T-bonds, wheat. So now we're going to review those. We had 2 points for corn on the moon there. The corn was just kind of popping up and down, no pun intended, and going sideways. So I decided that was too confusing. That was a pass. But then it did decline into our Pluto point there, the afternoon of the 23rd. And so whether you bought it on the close in or the next day, was a fraction difference there. And then it went up, up, up. So that was good. That was a green arrow. That's good. Yellow is a pass. Red, here we have a red arrow here, and that's because on our only point for soybeans was the moon, and beans just kept going down, so that's a miss. Here's wheat. Wheat, you caught, if you bought on the moon there, you were a day early, and if you waited a couple of days, you were in the black, and even better was the Pluto point, which you were buying right near the lows. Here's the cattle. You're buying 1 day past the low there on the cattle. That was good. Cotton, you're buying one just ahead of the low there the next day. Cocoa kept going, so that's a miss. Here's hogs. You're buying right on the low day there on hogs. And sugar went sideways, so we did nothing. Here's copper. You're selling right there near the highs. It dropped 8 cents, which is about $2,000. I went for one contract. Here's silver. Silver, if you bought there, you were in good, very good, up, up, and away. Here's gold, dropped into the moon and then popped up into our Pluto point. So you had 2 good trades there, and I think you added it all. And then if you went short there, had a chance to make. I think that was about 60 on the way up and 40 on the way down for $100 in gold. Here's S&P. You're selling right ahead of that high there before the nice drop. And then if you bought on the Pluto point, then you had a nice rally after that. Here's T-bonds. You're buying near the lows there on the moon and the U.S. point and up into Pluto. And that's also all good. Here's the U.S. That did not work. The moon and the U.S. point took an extra day for the dollar to bottom. So I count that as a miss. All right, so here's Aussie dollar dropped right into the moon and then popped up. That's a winner. Here's a British pound pulled down into the moon and then back up. That's a winner. Canadian dollar pulled down into the moon and popped up. That's a winner. And the euro just kept going higher another extra day. So that's a miss. Here's the Japanese yen dropped into the moon and then had a nice pop up. And here's the bottom line. We had 20 winners. 5 misses out of 25 for 80% winners. Here's my good old monthly planetary index I do every month in my letter. I do the blue line there a week or 2 in advance. And then I plot as we go along the actual prices. That's the S&P 10-minute bar charts on top. And if any of you folks are familiar with the Bradley index, this was Bradley inspired about 50 years ago. But I've since reconstructed the whole thing and made some major improvements over the way Bradley did it, I believe. And there we go. So basically, here's the dates up here at the top. We went for the 6th through the 31st of March. So if you want to have a forecast several weeks in advance, what might happen, there you go. Get a hold of me. All right, moving ahead here now. Here's what's coming immediately ahead. And the night of the 19th, that'll be about 2 days now, we'll have a solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. A solar eclipse is just a special kind of new moon. So that's financials, grains, precious metals. Then this gets really interesting because just the next night, we have Mercury in Taurus turning retrograde. And either one of these by itself would be okay, maybe. But the two together potentially is really big because this has a track record of a new moon on top of Mercury retrograde as being really, really big. For example, here's May of 2015. I think the 19th was the day, right around the 19th was the day we had the new moon and Mercury turned retrograde. And the next day, I think the Dow topped that day and the S&P the next day for the high day of the year. This also applied to the highest high day in 2007, October the 11th. You had both a new moon and Mercury turning retrograde. So you might want to pay attention this combination here right around coming up here the 19th to the 20th of the month. And then we have Uranus that night of the 21st. We have Uranus to the U.S., and that's U.S. stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. Then the weekend of the 21st, that was the weekend of the first AC after the close. To the U.S. chart, so we have 2 points to the U.S. for U.S. stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. Then the night of the 25th, that'll be a Tuesday night. To the U.S. again, U.S. stocks, T-bonds, U.S. dollar. Then the afternoon of the 28th, we have Saturn changing signs going in the Pisces. And the main thing is oil, but also may affect cocoa, coffee, hogs, soybeans, and T-bonds. Then the afternoon of the 28th, we have Pluto in Aquarius turning retrograde, and that's your cocoa, copper, hogs, and T-bonds. And keep in mind that these points the stock market can respond to any and all of these events. So moving ahead now, if you don't know me, I've been doing this about 50 years. I was a Chicago floor trader about 12 years on the CBOE and the Chicago Board of Trade back in the 70s and 80s. I've studied all the most of the natural rooted methodologies, Elliott Wave, Fibonacci, Gann. I have a background in music and so forth. So I've been looking at many of these things. I think I have a talent for taking a lot of this complicated stuff and making it simple. So nothing that I have is over a fifth grade level. That's what I believe. And there you go. I know this stuff looks complicated, all some new terminology and so forth, but you can learn that in a couple of days. All right, here's how you get a hold of me. I'm in beautiful Naples, Florida, 239-216-2578. And in Winski at yahoo.com. That's NWINSKI at yahoo.com. Or you can call me for free on Skype at NWINSKI_1. Looking forward to helping some of your folks, Jeff.
You help us every month, another 80% performance. I don't know anyone else who can do that in commodities, let me tell you. Maybe there are some people. I haven't seen them. Norm, that's terrific, and we'll see you back in a couple of weeks.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jeff.